To understand the process of replication better, we'll give you a figurative example. Imagine that we put knitted jumper into a device similar to a microwave oven. At that time, a special device reads the shape of the jumper and the position of each hair in the threads of the jumper. A special device, like a crochet hook, is then used to pick up one thread and unravel the jumper all the way down to the hairs, and each hair is disassembled into its component parts. All these components are stored compactly and tightly packed. Thus, our seemingly large jumper fits into a small box. When we need to make a jumper again, the previously recorded program reconstructs the hair components in the right sequence and converts them into wool strands, which are then converted into the yarn that will knit the jumper anew. All this information gives the understanding that everything in this world has been programmed and created. It's a whole programming table, but there's nothing complicated about it. Now in programming, we only use zeros and ones, whereas in the beyond quantum world, we use several hundred combinations. By comparison, our alphabet has only about 30 letters, but over 1 million words are made up of them. It is not difficult for a human to manipulate letters and form words, nor is it difficult for an artificial intelligence to analyze all the possible combinations of snakes, which can be quite numerous, and to analyze the characteristics of any material object at the snake level, and thus recreate its exact copy according to this information matrix. Health capsule. The health capsule works on the same principle. It will keep the human body in a perfect and young state for at least 1500 years. By means of the same manipulation of energies, the snakes that make up all the particles in the cells of our body. From the perspective of modern healthcare, the only way to help a person whose organ, for example, has failed is transplantation. The organ has to be taken out and replaced. Meanwhile, the health capsule will restore the working organ inside the body simply by changing the states of its cells at the beyond quantum level. There are about 30 trillion cells in the human body. In its complexity, each of them is like a galaxy. If we zoom into a cell 8 billion times and look inside, we will see that it resembles a colossal automated factory, performing almost as many unique functions as all manufacturing in the world. Moreover, this factory would possess a characteristic that none of the most modern machines have: the ability to reproduce its own structure in its entirety in a matter of hours. A cell is such an interconnected and fine-tuned system that if even one of its components fails, the cell will die. Therefore, manipulation of a living cell at the level of molecules and atoms is impossible. It's like trying to fix the engine of the car at a full throttle. Meanwhile, at the beyond quantum level, everything is simple. It is necessary to add snakes where they're missing, or remove the excess ones, and the condition of an organ will return from pathological to healthy. Rejuvenation of the body and prolongation of human life will take place according to the same principle. Information code. We can make an analogy with the program code of a website. In order to change something on a web page, we don't make changes on the website itself, but we go into the code and write what we want. For example, we change the font color in the code, and this is immediately displayed on the website itself. We can write a different picture address, and the picture that we see on the website will be replaced. That is, we make the changes in the code, and they are displayed on the page of the website. This is how the health capsule will work. We make changes at the beyond quantum level, at the code level, and they're displayed here, in the world that is visible to us. The knowledge about the control and manipulation of matter has been known since antiquity. That very caduceus symbol is a symbol of human power over matter, not a human over a human, as it was later distorted. Our hypothesis confirms that alchemy is not a fairy tale, because it is possible to change one state of an object into another by simply changing its characteristics at the beyond quantum level. Also, our hypothesis gives an understanding on what principles the exchange of information between entangled particles takes place, which means that the same principle can be used by humankind in technologies. All this is available already at the first level of civilization development. And we become a civilization when we enter the creative society. From that moment, completely new technologies based on the understanding of the beyond quantum world will be available to us. What technologies open up before us? Today's technological development is hindered by the limited speed of information transfer. But using the principle of instant interconnection of entangled particles removes any limitations. We cannot even imagine the amount of information which all matter in the universe exchanges every moment. We, humanity, only need to fit harmoniously into this flow. And then our lives will change tremendously. How exactly? Information exchange. First, the internet. The speed of information transfer will increase billions of times. Across the entire planet, data exchange will be instantaneous without loss of time, no longer requiring satellites, TV towers, or wires. In just a few years, an ordinary wristwatch will be able to process millions of times more information than the most advanced supercomputer nowadays. Compared to the future technology, today, we're like primitive tribes, transmitting signals using smoke from campfires. This also reveals enormous opportunities in human communication, instant connection, and communication in the form of the most realistic holograms, simulating the full presence of a person. Being thousands of kilometers away, we can see each other and communicate as if we were in the same room, or we can without leaving home, be at the seashore or on a fishing trip, experiencing all the sensations. The Eye of God, Vajra. Secondly, guided by the hypothesis presented, humanity will be able to use not 6, but all 32 types of energy as in ancient times. This means that such legendary technologies of ancient times, which we have already mentioned, Vajra and the Eye of God, will become available to us. How do they function, and what opportunities do they open? The Eye of God makes it possible to see and identify a person by their individual neural signal, no matter where they are, while Vajra allows us to remotely influence the operation of neurons. In essence, these are two components of a single technology that work with brain neurons in the human body as a whole. Neurons, during their work, produce a certain radiation, a signal which is yet unknown to science and which is unique for every person, like a fingerprint or a retina. This is a kind of individual neurocode that remains the same from birth throughout life. The kind of energy that Eye of God and Vajra operate with is impossible to shield. Those are signals that instantly reach each other across all galaxies, and the same kind of signals are perceived and emitted by the neurons of the brain, which has already been experimentally proven. This gives the understanding of why we actually need so many neurons and what their true function is. The Eye of God and Vajra technologies, introduced already in the transition period to the creative society, opens up many prospects for us. How will they improve our lives? Safety. Thanks to the Eye of God technology, not a single person in the world will go missing or be kidnapped without a trace. Today, millions of children disappear without a trace every year, and the Eye of God is able to locate any person anywhere, anytime, no matter whether they're in a cave or in outer space. Moreover, thanks to the Eye of God and Vajra technologies, any crime will become impossible. A person intending to commit an unlawful act will be instantly identified and immediately held accountable. It's important to note that Vajra cannot read thoughts, but it can read emotions such as fear or aggression. For example, if aggression is recorded in a group of people and a person close to them experiences fear and the threat of violence, it is evident that this person is in danger and needs help. Immediately, the appropriate measures are taken to ensure that person's safety. All manifestations of aggression will be under control, so your life will always be completely safe. Also, in the creative society, these technologies will be synchronized with an NPC Voskad, which will be able not only see any perpetrator, but also to identify who they're connected with, see their financial flows, and make decisions to neutralize them. The Eye of God and Vajra will also help in case of emergencies. If a person is in trouble, catastrophe, or injured, suppose there is a major earthquake and many people are trapped under rubble. The Eye of God technology will instantly indicate exactly where a living person is, whereas Vajra technology can remotely make changes to their body that will allow them to survive. For example, by interacting with a person's neurons, Vajra will instantly stop their bleeding, eliminate the painful shock, and if necessary, put them into an artificial controlled coma. As processes in the body slow down in a coma, rescuers have more time to get to a person and save them. By the same principle, In case of an accident, Vajra will help a person before the ambulance arrives. And these are just a few striking examples of the use of these technologies to ensure people's safety. There will